Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. You could have been just about any place else in the world, and I do mean any place, but you decided to throw caution to the wind and spend your time here with me. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. Thank you all very much. Okay. And one last touch. Okay. Just to say I did. Okay. Hmm. There we go. All right. I think you'll like that. Good. Good. All right. Let me see who was here first. Ah, that ain't what I was looking for. Emerald Derek, there you are. Thank you so much for being first. And oh, you know what? I should open up a screen so I can see what you all are seeing. All right. That would help. There we go. Oh, and my slides. Let me get the slides up. Almost forgot about that. Okay. I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Of course, I always say that, don't I? Okay, slides are coming up. Booyah! There we go. All right. Thank you, Emerald Derek, Lydia Washington, Mary H., Maurice Brown, Olive Perry, Mary H. Oh, I said that, didn't I? Okay. And oh, that was the early conversation I'm looking at. Peace and joy, and a host of friends and others. Okay. And there we are. There we are. Oh, 1 second. Okay, I'm coming. Just hold on, cause I'm coming. Just hold on, cause I'm coming. Reach out to me for satisfaction. Call my name for reaction. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, Sam and Dave. I love that song. All right. So, what do we have here? We're going to talk about the Wellses, the Cottas, but we're going to start off with the Sussexes. So, I guess you can. Um, Actually, you know what? I don't know who's to start. Let's get on with it. Aha, it's the Cottas. Well, looking absolutely fabulous tonight. Check out Blue Ivy at the premiere of Mufasa. Now, they have her listed as a singer and a songwriter. So apparently, she is she's getting into the business. She is getting into the business, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Better to be there to coach her into the business than to let some. Who was that guy that brought Latoya Jackson into the business? I don't think she was really meant to be in the business. They just kind of, didn't see she had a future in the business. But um, somehow she got into the business and not in the best possible way. So I think that with the guidance of her parents, instead of some slick hustler businessman, that is the best recipe for, um, you know, getting the Blue Ivy into the business. Oh, hey there, Lady Rose. Let me see here. All right, that's a Sussex friendly space if I've ever heard of one. Let me pin you at the top of the chat. There you go. That way, you guys can find a Sussex friendly space. Um, there are so many of them now, and I'm telling you, they are doing an amazing, amazing job. So, on those times when you are looking for some updates, um, there's an embarrassment of riches now because there's so many great channels. So, check out um, Rose, Lady Rose, I'm sorry, Sussex, and that is the link up there at the top of the chat. All right. You know what? I kind of like what mm, you know, guys. Let me just say that uh, Pops looks very sharp in his suit, and Mom, I'm trying to figure out whether or not I like that opening. Well, it's okay. I mean, it's nice. It's nice. Um, maybe because I'm just not the biggest fan of polka dots, and those are huge. But it's nice. And then Blue Ivy, does she not look like a Disney princess? I think she looks absolutely beautiful. So, in spite of, and I'm not even going to talk about that other stuff that's going on because um, I, I think that that is a bit of a reach, and I would think that if there was something there, it would have been mentioned sooner than later. So I'm not even going to bother with that. I wish all of the Carters the very best. I think they're a lovely family, and for the most part, very positive role models. I don't like to look back; I look forward. So there you go. And check it out, check it out. Mother and daughter. I think gold was the feature tonight. Ball gown for Blue Ivy. And you know what? It's perfect. It's very youthful. Um, you know what I'm saying? It's not so clingy and it's just very classic beauty. Albeit gold lame, I suppose, but very classically beautiful. And she does look like a Disney princess. And I hope that this will lead to some more work. Yeah, I hope this will lead to some more work. Now, let's get to him, the man who has captured the hearts of so many people here in these United States. Luigi Mangione. Well, they just booked him. They just booked him. Um, Apparently, they feel as though he's the guy. Um, and of course, being the way things are, there are, oh, who knows how many people out there who are all ready to send commissary. I think his books are going to be full. Do you hear me? And there's going to be people trying to figure out now what can I do to get that next sale. So this happens from time to time. I remember that with those brothers. What's their name? The ones that smoked their parents. I remember that with them. And I mean, well, you could tell from the pictures when he was wearing that mask that, if nothing else, the eyes were right. Well, I tell you what, if he has a cellmate um, that that fancies him. Oh yeah, the Mendez. Thank you so much, Legs. if he has a cellmate that rather fancies him, you could be sure that he's going to be there for a long time. Um, but you know what? From the appearance of things, they said they approached him at the McDonald's and that he pulled his mask down and everything. He didn't try to resist, or it was like a bus stop. They said it's where the bus dropped him, and yeah, so that's what happened today. I mean, within hours, within the past hour, he was booked. And of course, this is not the first time. Dolazar Zarnaev and Jeremy Meeks. Remember Jeremy Meeks, the hot felon, and the guy from Boston? Um, yeah, it's like a phenomenon where people turn them into celebrities. By the way, Jeremy Meeks has just turned 40, I believe. I believe he's 40 years old now. And as for Dolezal, I can guarantee you he does not look like that anymore. He was pretty badly banged up when they caught hold of him. And I should tell you, he has some Prince Charles ears hidden behind that hair. That's why he was wearing his hair like that. His ears are like the flight of Dumbo. If you've ever been to Disneyland, you know what I'm talking about. His ears are like the flight of Dumbo. So um, he was married to that green girl, right? The one from the whatever store that was with all that disposable fashion. Something green he was married to. Her father's a billionaire. And yeah, anyway, and Jeremy Meeks, I mean, he's of mixed race. Uh, I don't know if you can tell, but he's of mixed race, and that very tan skin of his and those steely blue eyes. I mean, that's what made him famous. Literally, people were like catching his image from the was it Los Angeles County Sheriff website, and it was just like people started posting his picture and making all of these lewd comments, and next thing um, they were waiting for him to get out, trying to put money on his books and waiting for him to get out. So I know, right? Right. So Luigi Magnoni, Mangione, he is a computer science major. He has a double major. I believe he graduated from Penn State, and this was his. I believe he started this account when he was living in Honolulu, Hawaii. Comes from a very big family. Um, and from, let me see, 2016, I'm going to guess that, no, I don't believe they're ever going to let him out. I don't believe they're ever going to let him out. They're going to keep him, especially with all that. And, I have to say, this kid, the one on the left, Zarnaev, I believe he was just really following his brother. I think he was just following his brother. And it kind of reminds me of Ruby D in what was that movie, American Gangster? When she told Frank, she say, whatever you do, they do. If you wanted to be a doctor, then your brothers would want to be a doctor. If you wanted to drive a bus, then your brothers would drive a bus. No, I don't have the lines right. And I do believe it's one of those cases where, immigrant family and all that kind of stuff, and just really following in his brother's footsteps. And I think he was like 19. I couldn't tell you how stupid I was at 19, 20, 25. You know what I'm saying? So, Yes, in the eyes of the law, yeah, you know how it is, but still. Um, yeah, so that's and also if you notice the center photo there, they're saying that that may have been a motivation. You can see those pins in the lower vertebrae. Um, he may have had a catastrophic injury, and although this doesn't really track as far as I'm concerned, it may be an injury that occurred to someone else, not necessarily him. But who knows? We don't know. They haven't mentioned anything about an injury as far as I'm aware of. But the thing is, I think he comes from a. I mean, this guy is a genius. I think his IQ is like 130 or something like that. I know it's a big number. Um, but yeah, he comes from a very big family, and they're not slouchers either. Oh, it was only yeah, that's not exactly generational wealth. Yeah, that's not exactly generational wealth, but any little bit helps, right? But I think that who, if they ever identify the one who called the popo, I think someone will probably do a GoFundMe or something like that. So, and then there's, of course, there, it's going to be lots of conspiracy theories. Let me see here. Let me get this straight. Um, the perp is Luigi Maggiano, Mangione, Ivy League grad with degrees in computer science, avid reader, and active contributor to GitHub. He has a 130 plus IQ, but he takes off his mask at the Starbucks to flirt with an employee. Then an hour later goes and calmly, offs the CEO of a major healthcare company, rides away on a bike. A week later, goes to a local McDonald's where he brings they said it was actually one of those printed, what do they call it? Digital printed or whatever, uh, plastic, resin or whatever. So yeah, so he printed that himself. Um, and the fake ID used to check into a hotel or hostel and written manifesto on how horrible the American healthcare system is. He somehow gets identified by a cashier after he sits down. He works on his laptop until the popo comes inside the McDonald's, sitting there with a, you know, printed thing in his bag, I guess. And of course, the silencer he made himself. Gotcha. So I guess what they're trying to say is, how is this possible? How is this possible? And that's just the thing. Whenever is something as big as this, the perpetrator always seems like it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. You find out that the perp um, may not have the right motivation or whatever. I don't know. I mean, even if you do have all those screws in your back like that, with six pack abs like that, I don't care what's wrong with your back. Those stomach muscles will hold you up every day of the week. I don't care what's wrong with you. I mean, uh, those those abs are going to hold you up. That those abs are going to give you the core strength that you need. I mean, look at that six pack. Whatever's wrong with his back, he'll be all right. I mean, he got all those stomach muscles to hold him upright and perfect posture and everything. And even if he doesn't have great posture, who's going to notice? With eyes like that, who's going to notice? I wonder. But seriously, it's got to be very jarring to the family. And he even made a statement where he apologized for all of the fear and hurt and such that this has caused, but he said they had it coming. So let's see, what else do we have here? And then, of course, there's one lone, lingering look backwards as they perp walk him into jail. So, um, did y'all get a good screenshot of this one? This would make a great screensaver. I'm just saying. I mean, if you're into bad boys, this will make a great screensaver or something. But now, what about his cousin? Luigi's cousin is cousins with the sitting Maryland state delegate Nino Mangione, who represents District 42A. That's right. Um, Yeah, I know you, Lee. Kind of like the Statue of David. I mean, if the Statue of David ever went rogue and just started, doing things like that, um, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Kind of like the Statue of David. Uh, he's even got David's hair, right? He's even got David's hair. So, yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right. And if he says he didn't do it, I believe him because eyes like that don't lie. So I'm trying to find a statue of David that we can compare. Let me see. Uh, yeah, there we go. There we go. And we will compare. Yeah. We'll be very petty and compare. Well, David's not smiling, but I told you he's got David's hair. For certain, he's got David's hair. So let's see. Uh, anyway, oh yeah, this is where I meant to go next. What do you think Christmas is going to be like at the um how am I struggling with this name? Mangione house. How do you think their Christmas is going to go? Because if you look all the way in the background there, you see that kid with the plaid shirt. Now, according to the people on the interweb, that's our perp. That is Luigi all the way back there. But look at the size of that family. I mean, come on, it could have been any of them. It could have been even any of them. So, but look at the size of that family. I don't have to wonder what the Mangione family does in their spare time. 3 or 4 times a night, I suppose. What do they do in their spare time? There's generations of them there. Yeah, generations of them. I mean, they must go at it like rabbits, huh? Anyway, they're going to have a very odd Christmas, I think. Very odd Christmas. I wonder what year this is. People went onto his social media, his Facebook. I went on his Twitter, um, link, LinkedIn, Linktree, or whatever they call it. Um, what else? Hmm. Well, anyway, they went on his social media. Now, and that really does bring up a question. With a family this big, and of course, people are criticizing his cousin for not turning him in. Now, his cousin says there in that letter that he's not allowed to talk about it. He's been advised to not speak about any of this stuff, which, of course, is his right. Um, I mean, family is family, blood is thicker than water, et cetera, et cetera. But he says, please find below a statement from my family, which I adopt in response to the news inquiries regarding my cousin Luigi Mangione. I will have no further comment beyond this statement at this time. And the statement reads, unfortunately, we cannot comment on news reports regarding Luigi Mangione. We only know what we have read in the media. Our family is shocked and devastated by Luigi's arrest. We offer our prayers to the family of Brian Thompson, and we ask people to pray for all involved. We are devastated by this news, the Mangione family. So, yeah, I mean, just remember that it affects families on both sides. And while we are saddened at the loss of that husband, father, insurance CEO, um, there's also the devastation in his family as well. So oh boy, you all do not disappoint. You know that, don't you? You all do not disappoint ever. You all never disappoint me. Um, that's rich. Thank you so much for it. I really do. I really do feel where you're coming from with that one. Um, uh, oh well, you know what? In that case, in that case, and also, I'm just gonna say, let me stop. I got to be very responsible. Um, but yeah, so kiss Christmas goodbye this year. I got a feeling that it won't make much of a difference to the family, well, the younger kids and everything. It's gonna be a little embarrassing having that name, but then again, considering the way people feel about the insurance industry right now, I think the family, all things considered, they'll probably be okay because sad but true, there are people that regale him as a hero, even if he didn't look like a stripper. People consider that young man a hero. Um, I mean, there are literally people wondering why are they even looking. So I'm not saying I feel that way, but I'm just saying some people feel as though that kid is a hero. Speaking of heroes, don't forget Polo is coming tomorrow to Netflix. It may even drop later tonight, like about 3 a.m. or something like that. I don't know what time zone you're in, but after midnight, um, maybe Eastern time, you might be able to see it. So look for it. And how Prince Harry and Princess forged a bond in art and charity. You know what? I would love to tell you, but there is a paywall. And as much as I love Vanity Fair, the last thing I need is another subscription. So I would love to share the details with you, but I don't think I'm quite. Oh, actually, I can. That one didn't have a paywall, did it? It says when Prince Harry took the microphone at a fundraiser for his charity Ballet on Wednesday night, he acknowledged that the basement room of the Lower East Side Art Gallery wasn't his usual haunt. Still, he thanked the gallery's owner, Kai Smith, for giving him a crash course on contemporary art. I am slightly new to the art world, he said. So I am not going to pretend as though I know something that I don't, the prince said. But what I do know is the ability for art to be able to convene and bring people together. And that is needed more than ever in today's world. Smith assembled a crowd that included journalist Ronan Farrow, artist Rokuko Nato, no, yeah, okay, that's it. George Louise Rodriguez and Harriet McGurk, yeah. Frank Stella's Windows from Friend and exhibit featuring works by minimalists and op art greats, including Stella, Agnes Martin, Smith's grandfather, Tadaki. You know what? I kind of think did this article already, didn't I? What's the date on this one? What is the date on this one? Huh, maybe not. Oh well. I thought I did. But anyway, you get the point. Anyway, if you want to see the article in its entirety, go to Prince Harry and Princess forge a bond in art and charity, and that's in Vanity Fair right now. So, where to next? Speaking of art, there is our Duchess. It was worth sharing this again. She looks like a dream. She looks like a dream, and they just can't take it. I noticed that they didn't have any or nearly as much criticism for this dress compared to the red dress, but um, maybe they exhausted themselves on the red dress. I don't know. But she looks great. She's feeling great, enjoying life in California, as too does her husband enjoy life in California. So, um, and there is a new art form called AI, artificial intelligence. You just never know. You just never know what's going to pop up next. I must say, some of the AI I really enjoy, especially when they get the hands right. Sometimes AI, the artificial intelligence, it just seems to not know what to do with their hands or what the hands are for. But when they get it right, it can be pretty awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true, Joan Garcia. It's like she's aging backwards, and the other ones are aging way faster than they should. All right. And of course, Harry is Captain America, change of residency. Get it? Captain America, change of residency instead of Captain America. Oh gosh, what was the title of that movie? Anyway, but yeah, Montecito movie of the year. Yeah, Captain America, change of residency. That's why we love the Marvel universe. How about this one? Harry and Meghan in that sci-fi thriller Dune. That's right, our fave starring in Dune. I could see them in a movie together. I really could. I could see them in the movie together. And of course, Harry as Spider-Man. Oh, I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Uh, I'm going to pin the wish list at the top of the chat. Now, of course, no one is obliged to order anything from the wish list, but it's just that fun stuff that I like to get those surprises. But again, no one is obliged. It's just, fun for me. All right. And what else is next? Aha, another Spider-Man. And I guess Megan is Mary Jane. Right? Hey, Church Nelly. Thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah. Harry's kind of buff there, isn't he? If you just joined us, we're having some fun with the AI. And of course, our faves on the cover of a romance novel. Yeah, a real Harlequin romance. Our faves on the cover of a romance novel. When Prince Harry, the movie, comes out, or the Meghan and Harry story, I wonder who's going to play them. I mean, they're so identifiable. Although I do think it's easier to cast Meghan than Harry. It always seems like it's easier to cast Meghan for something than it is Harry. Remember Fat Harry on one of those? Was that the Hallmark Channel? They had Fat Harry. I mean, he was huge. And then, of course, the one that played Queen Elizabeth, she looked like she was like a wrestler, not in high school, but in the retirement community. If there was a wrestling team in a retirement community, I think that actress would have been on that team. She was huge. When she walked in, it was just like you could hear the thud of each foot planting in the floor. I could not believe how massive she was. She was just very wide. That's what I remember about her. Okay. And of course, this Dodo, Donald Trump says King is fighting very hard against cancer. The US president elect met with Prince of Wales in Paris on Saturday and said they spoke about Charles' health. Now, you guys, I was listening to Pedo earlier, and I heard people saying that, and it wasn't a lot, I'm sure it was just a couple people, but it seems like someone was saying that the conversation was centered around Harry and some of the stuff that Trump has said in the past. And also, I've heard some of the commentators. Um, from what I recall about what Trump said, even about what he said about Meghan, he said that Harry is going to have his hands full. Trump reacts to the British media goading him to say something about the Sussexes. I don't think he's terribly interested. And this idea that he's angry because of what they did to the Queen, I did not hear him say that. So the point I'm trying to make is why get panicked about something that is he's going to be too busy gutting our government when he gets into office. He's not going to be sitting there thinking about Harry, right? And I one thing I could assure you is nobody tells him what to do. Nobody tells him what to do. Um, and so that brings me to the other point, and that is all of this talk about the special relationship with Britain. That's only going to go so far, and is only going to go so far. Um, that man is not loyal to anybody but himself, not even his children. He's not loyal to anyone but himself. As evident by the way he was staring down Elon Musk. People pointed out the look he gave Elon Musk. He will play with people and he will toy with them until he gets tired of them, and then he's going to push you on out the way. So I am not thinking the worst. I really don't think he cares. Every comment was something he was goaded into. It's not like he has got on Twitter and given some unsolicited response. This is in reaction to the British media. And they love to put people on the spot about anything to do with the royal family. Do you like the royal family? Do you support so and so that doesn't like the royal family? He has no feelings to hurt. If people are thinking that he's angry at Meghan for calling him a misogynist, I could assure you he does not care. That was years ago. If that bothered him, he'd have done something much sooner. He doesn't care about that stuff. So if something happens, it happens. But don't, I just don't believe that he's spending his time as these clickbait tabloid journalists, and that's being generous calling them that. I just don't believe that is high on anybody's agenda. And as Petal did point out, the judge that said that Harry's information should be kept uh, private was a Trump appointee. Now, that's not to say that he won't get involved himself and say something that he shouldn't, just like speaking about Charles III's health. That was something he probably shouldn't have done. My point is, you really cannot rely upon him. I can guarantee you Buckingham Palace was not pleased at the idea that Trump is speaking about the king's health. But yet, there you go. That's what I say. He's not very reliable. And anybody who thinks that they got him figured out, they're wrong. Lex says, wait, is William talking about the family leaking? Yes, Willie Leaks. That's why we call him Willie Leaks. Absolutely, Lex. And thank you so much for the super chat. No surprise there, right? Also, I doubt if there was much conversation about any of the relations between the two brothers. I just doubt it. I really do. I wouldn't put too much stock in that. Let me see. William looks like David Beckham in BP when he met with Trump. British Petroleum? What is BP? He looks like David Beckham in Buckingham Palace. Yes. I got you. Sorry about that. By the way, thank you. What was I going to say? Oh, the other thing is, what about the fact that Willie and everybody else did not want to be photographed with Trump? Now all of a sudden he can't wait to sit down and have some type of conversation with him. You guys, this was at the British embassy. This was at the British embassy. Trump was there to speak to the British ambassador. I can promise you, the British ambassador is the one who had the official talking points from the government, not William. William, at some point, may have been excused from the conversation if it was anything that was confidential that is being exchanged. Now, I heard one of the people on UK television say that usually the British ambassador would go to the American president to show you how important this was with the special relationship. Trump came to them. Trump is not president. Until January, the 20th, he is not the president. He is president-elect. Now, one thing that he has at this point as president-elect is that he gets to have access to all of the state secrets while this transition is taking place, right? And then once he gets sworn in again, then he'll have all the keys to the kingdom. In the meantime, this is unprecedented that a president elect is going around on these foreign trips. That's what's unheard of, not him going to the ambassador's house, but the fact that he's there in the first place. This is unheard of. I said that the other day. This does not happen. This is a warning to everyone of how unconventional the next 4 years are going to be. How unconventional. I don't know of any president elect that was traveling abroad before they were sworn into office. And by the way, this is like maybe only the second or third time that someone was president, then they wasn't, and then they come back. I think this is maybe the second or third time this happened. But yeah, this is just part of what's to come. Now, I'm not saying that things are going to be so much worse, but the intention is there. I mean, I just heard they're going to set free all the January 6 people. We're not going to know until we know. Well, yeah, that's a good point. All he has to do, if he wants to know the secrets of the state, all he has to do is go to the bathroom. I'm sure there's some more boxes in his bathroom. Did they check all the bathrooms? Yeah, that's a good point too. Although I don't know that we would be any better off. You guys, he's not so interested in running the government. He never was. He likes the attention, which is why I think he and William have a lot in common. They like the attention. They don't like to do the hard work. That first time that he went into the White House, I do remember them floating the idea that he would be more like a show horse and that someone else would do the other work. Well, that idea kind of came and went. And then what happened? Jared comes to the White House to keep an eye on him. So I just don't want to, and I'm speaking for myself, I don't want to get into a panic about what will and will not happen. We just don't know. We won't know until it does. And as someone pointed out, who knows if he'll even survive that long? We just, there's too many unknowns. Too many unknowns. But this conversation with Willie Leaks does not concern me. Anybody knows a child when they see one. They're not equals. William is not a global statesman. Remember what I said. If you have to tell people that you are, you're probably not. Right, exactly. He spent most of his presidency waiting for the people on Fox News to tell him what he thinks. Exactly. Um, and you guys, when he goes and makes these executive orders, the executive orders are going to stand, but only for so long before the courts get involved. Okay? And there were a few things that he tried to do before, and the judges that he placed in on the bench were the ones that stopped him. That happened many times during his first administration. So even though the Supreme Court is the law of the land the last word when it comes to interpreting the law, it has to go through the other courts first. If nothing else, that may slow them down. And then who knows? Miracle of miracles. It may be that very same Supreme Court that stops them. You just cannot know what's going to happen. So um, worry about it when it happens. And yet another cartoon. Don't you love it? This really depicts Willie as he is and not how he sees himself. This is the real Willie Leaks. As smug as can be, yet he is being toted around by a 78-year-old president. Baron New York calls William a putz. Oh, yes, that's very New York, isn't it? Is that Yiddish, putz? I think that's a Yiddish word, isn't it? But thank you for the super chat. What a putz. Let's see. Yeah. Like I said, we have to wait and see. But um, I I I pray that that does not happen. I pray that that does not happen. There would be. Oh, I'm sorry about that. There would be so many people affected. How much of a threat to our lives and our livelihoods will we have to suffer through before somebody puts a stop to it? So let's hope that doesn't happen. Um, but it can be devastating. I won't kid you about that. Some of the things that they have in mind could be very devastating to a lot of people. Um, but I just think we have to stay in prayer and remember that there are more good people out there than there are bad people. And even though, what was it, some 52% of the electorate voted for this lunatic, that still is not everyone. And there's a lot of people that are going to come around and slowly regret the choices that they made. It really comes down to trusting the system. Um, the forefathers and so on and so forth. The idea that the way the Constitution was written, that it will take care of itself. We just have to hope and pray that that is the case. There are no guarantees, but let's just hope the system works. It is a worry to me, not so much um, the challenges to the Constitution, but just some of the traditions and the precedents that have been set by other presidents. That is what concerns me, is that so many presidents have come and gone, and they um, did not leave as big a mark on the office as they could have. It's almost like a gentleman's agreement where they knew just how far to go without going too far. I don't think that Trump cares about that. Just like people were looking at Trump and Jill Biden speaking to one another. Trump is charming. Do you hear what I'm saying? He is charming and people like him. But does he have respect for you while he's charming you? No. He doesn't care about you or the next person. He only cares about himself. And that's what the problem is that people uh, tend to forget about some of the things that he's done, and they just see him as this, stand-up comic. But all of the famous people, that is, that hung around him before he became president, they weren't hanging around him for nothing. A free meal here, a ball there, a political donation, or whatever the case may have been. They were hanging around him for a reason. And that's because they didn't see him as a threat. Now he's a threat. And now they have changed their tunes, some of them. But we'll get through this. I have faith. We will get through this. And of course, we can't forget our cartoon from yesterday, where we found out the prince has no clothes. The Prince of Wales has no clothes. Yeah, vote against their interests, as they have done time and time again. They can't get enough of voting against their own interests. Now, Zandy Sussex, who has been an incredible source, has found something that kind of sounds just like what I was saying the other day, doesn't it? 10 years ago, the Daily Mail reader Molly made a comment that proved to be an accurate prediction of the future. Absolutely nobody, even the minions who pretend to be, was surprised that Kate immediately felt threatened by Meghan and behaved like a jilted ex. So Molly from Toronto, Canada, says, why doesn't Kate have any female friends other than her sister? Women sense when other women are artificial, false, insecure, social climbing, and greedy. Even when Kate is photographed at a social function, such as one of the many weddings she attends, you never see her making girl talk. She never leaves William's side. Kate probably used these tactics with Charles as well as Harry. I feel sorry for Harry's future wife. Adjusting to royal life won't be hard for her. Dealing with Kate and her desperate need to be the center of attention will. Where there's smoke, where there's smoke, and people have been saying this for a long time. And of course, since I have been paying attention to these things, I have noticed that she has no girlfriends. None. No girlfriends. Ever. Ever. And that says a lot. That says a lot. Meghan did not realize, because Meghan is a girl's girl, we all know that. She did not realize that a person like this exists. By the way, that image has not been doctored. It is untouched from the wire service, and not chosen by the tabloids for any of their publications. That is just untouched, raw, natural, nobody's friend. Anyway, as I was saying, I just wanted to make that clear because I do not alter their images. I don't do that. I may place them in situations where, they have not been, but I really get bothered when the derangers do that to Meghan, and I certainly wouldn't do that to them. Because I think when you do something like that, that's an indication that there's like hatred and hostility. But we don't hate her. We don't like the way she acts toward, you know, certain people, but it's not about hate. I think more or less we're just exposing her character. That's what we're doing, or lack thereof. So, yeah, that says a lot. Queen Elizabeth had girlfriends. Even uh, Godzilla, the queen consort, has girlfriends. Kate does not, ever, ever. Now, I understand that it could be rather tricky to go out and about to have a lunch date or something like that. Ever. I don't think she's ever had a girlfriend. Just a good girlfriend that she can hang out with. I think that her connection to Rose was very situational. This function, that affair, and nothing more. Not a single photograph, no stories, nothing. And I remember that Celibici said it was rare that Kate would go anywhere outside of a 15-mile radius of Adelaide Cottage. This is the royal who has not made but one solo trip abroad. Just one. One solo trip abroad in all these years of marriage. And that was to Denmark. And the Danish people still are trying to figure out, why did she come over there? Um, Princess Victoria, the Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden, she crapped on her so bad. Is it Sweden or Norway? I always mix those up, but I think it's Sweden. She crapped on Crown Princess Victoria so bad that the media in that country roasted her. And not just her, but Willie too. I did find at least one article where they seemed to take both Willie and Kitty to task. But they were selfish and dismissive of Crown Princess Victoria. That was absolutely rude. And also, do you all notice that they never get invited, or at least they don't go? They don't go to any other events with royals around Europe. The Scandinavians, royal families, they are pretty tight. Let's see. And of course, Spain is a bit of a hike, but you know, all of these families are tight, except the Windsors seem to be very standoffish. Even with the Dutch royal family, although the Queen had an enduring friendship with Queen, was it Beatrice? No, not Queen Beatrice, but oh yeah, well yeah, Queen Beatrice, as well as Queen Marguerite. You, at the very least, you could say they were friends. They are cousins and friends too, very connected. Who will Kate be connected to? Certainly not Mary of Denmark. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine it. I mean, there's obviously something wrong with this girl, and I feel bad for her because she's in a bad way, but she's about as warm as a rattlesnake. And I think she masked her insecurities by being cruel to people, throwing dirty looks and such, um, pushing other women away. And I'm going to allege that she was flirting with that tennis player right in front of his wife. For someone who has such a steely personality, God, did she get animated around him? She got very animated around him. And maybe it's true. Maybe she just is not allowed to speak to people. Maybe there's some deficit or something, excuse me, where they just don't want her to speak to people, lest she should say something ridiculous. Maybe they'll find out that she cannot complete sentences. I don't know. I don't know. But she certainly didn't arrive into the family like that. At least I don't think so. So, what has happened since 2011 that makes her so odd? But that's what, what's her name? Um, Hillary, the writer, the one who said she was like a jointed doll. Whatever personality she had, they just took it from her. They just, took it right away from her. She had to lose whatever personality she had. Oh gosh, Hillary, gosh, what is her name? Hillary something. She passed away a couple years ago. Mantle, right? Hillary Mantle. I think her name was Hillary Mantle. Yeah. Well, whatever it is, I wish her luck. She's gonna need it. Now, I'm gonna play this one anyway. I'm gonna play this one anyway. Um, I'm gonna play it anyway. You'll see. We could always take it out if it doesn't work. But Dr. Shola was speaking about how people perceive the royal family and how Americans might perceive the royal family. Ready? Here we go.
Peacekeeping is not the special relationship that flourished between two nations in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It is a relationship with a narcissistic egomaniac who is predictably unpredictable, who acts in bad faith, and who just happens to be a convicted rape.
Okay.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, what we can see, and let's just be honest, that all the royal family brings to the table is glitter, there is no gold. What they bring to the table is pomp and circumstance, there is no substance. Trump panders to this superficiality and the cloak of respectability that the royal family gives him. But the royal family is not going to be able to sway Trump on any of his decisions. The reality here is that Putin and Kim Jong-un have more chance of swaying Trump on his decisions because he fears and admires them. That's not the same kind of relationship that he has with the royal family.
Except that he may not fear the royal family. Yeah, that is definitely a point of agreement. But he definitely admires them. Okay. I mean, in his election campaign, he was showing a journalist a royal album of photographs.
Now, remember what I said. Trump is goaded into these responses by the British government, British reporters. It's not so much that Trump is excited about the royal family. He's excited about the fact that the royal family is excited about him. There's a difference. He's nobody's fan, but he loves the attention exchange between himself and other famous people. That's it. Just like people used to think that Philip and the Queen were sitting on their high horse anytime celebrities came around. They were the ones that were the super fans. The celebrities really just got, like I said, it's a novelty. All of the pomp and circumstance. Oh, do I bow? Do I shake my hand or curtsy? All of that is a novelty. Do you think most Americans care about that? It's a chance for us to show how sophisticated we are that we get these things right. It's a novelty, not a way of life. But the British reporters, the sycophants, the I guess the indoctrinated, they want to believe that everybody sees the royal family the way that they do. We do not. It's Downton Abbey. It's a soap opera. That's it. It's a soap opera. Okay, let me let her finish. Okay.
Photographs of him with our late queen.
From very
He
shallow-minded people that put the royal family on a pedestal.
No, but
If
we have a whole country which puts the royal family on a pedestal.
I understand. Though that's a whole different discussion.
Did she just say it's a whole country that put the royal family on a pedestal, meaning that most Americans put the royal family on a pedestal? Don't confuse people's admiration for Queen Elizabeth, the global grandmother, right? The national grandmother. Who's gonna go in and bully Queen Elizabeth? If you notice, most of the protests did not start until after she died. Everybody knows that the face of the royal family was the queen, and you can't just go around picking on an 80, 90-year-old woman like that. But Charles is a whole nother animal. Charles is the one who drove Princess Diana out of the country, and eventually she just wasn't there anymore, was she? So do you think that people are responding to Charles and Camilla like that? Right? And the only reason why Willie gets the attention that he does is because most people don't know him. Most people don't know him. They People like him, but they love Harry. They may like him in a very, oh, that's Princess Diana's son kind of way, but people love Harry. And that's always going to be the case.
I think the reality here is that if there's ever a conflict between what Trump wants and what the UK wants, the only person changing their position would be the UK, not Donald Trump.
Well, that's the case.
And I think that it's shameful that the royal family is now, like all of these other European leaders, going to be kowtowing and groveling at the feet of the first convicted.
Okay, all right.
Has been democratically
She's got
elected,
a point, hasn't she?
elected as American president.
She's got a point.
And as far as I'm concerned, what the royal family has to do is this.
She keeps saying that R word, but I think she only says it one time.
You can't ignore Trump because he's a democratically elected president. But what we must have is leadership, moral leadership that shows that they have the balls. And they lack the balls. They need a set of ovaries here in order to be able to navigate what is clearly going to be a very difficult relationship with a man who is bad-tempered, acts in bad faith, who's a racist, and all of these other things that people already knew, yet they already, they elected him. But I don't think the royal family would do that, because the only thing the royal family has ever achieved is its own. Is that the only relationship that the royal family...
Okay, yeah, it cuts off there. Oh, thank you so much, Legs. Novelty is not notoriety. We don't have a king. Absolutely, we do not have a king. And even though that imbecile is going to try to live as though he is one, I'm telling you, that's only going to go so far. That's only going to go so far. Especially given some of the things that they are trying to put into place with that 2025 thingamajig. Take a perfectly good economy and wreck it. The economy is strong. The corporations are greedy, but the economy is strong. When corporations raise prices, they tend to keep those prices high. So that's why every time there's like a shortage of oil or the oil prices jump up, the consumers usually have to pay the price, and they never lower the prices. They keep them in place. A lot of that is just greed. They see what they can get away with, and they refuse to take it away. So, but yeah, Dr. Shola is speaking words of wisdom there. Um, whatever Trump does is going to be for the benefit of Trump, not for the United States, certainly not for the British people. And as she said, the British government is not in a position to disagree with the American government. They're not in a position to disagree. So if we go into an unnecessary war, what does Tony Blair do? He takes his country into an unnecessary war and even argues the case for it. And I like Tony Blair. I was so disappointed when that happened. I thought he was a little bit more progressive. But at the end of the day, they're all alike. They're all alike. They really are. At the end of the day, Democrat, Republican, they're all alike when it comes to war. Some of them just fall in line way too fast for my taste. They ask very few questions. They just do it. So it's I feel really bad for the lady there. What's her name? Suzanne, whatever her name is, because I really do believe she believes that there's something special there between the two governments, and that Trump really admires the royal family, and that that is going to save the day. Um, Barack Obama said it best: if you vote for Brexit, you're going to go to the back of the queue. And as much as he loved the Queen, there is a market of about what 500 million Europeans that came first, right? I believe the German economy is bigger than that of the British economy. Money talks. Friend or not, money talks. There might be a special relationship, but who's our oldest ally? Who's the oldest ally of the United States? France. France is the oldest ally, not a special relationship, the oldest ally, the ones that helped defeat the British. And Germany has the biggest economy in Europe. I think their economy is bigger than Russia. Their economy is bigger than India. So, friend or no friend, like the king or not, money talks. So I feel sorry for her. I think she's a little confused. Well, today, oh, and by the way, you guys, I'm almost done. I think this is the end of it here. Um, Duchess Royal released a video, and you know that's like one of my favorite things in life is a Duchess Royal video. So make sure you check it out. Oh, I do not have the link. Let me grab the link for it. Make sure you check it out. Um, One of the things I love about Duchess Royal's videos is that it is an excellent opportunity to explain the difficult to explain about all things Sussex. And what I mean by that is that if you have someone who's been asking you questions constantly, like that's what my aunt used to do. She'd ask me, well, what about this? What about that? I had to put her on to Duchess Royal because it's a great way to explain a lot of these things, because she can take you from this period of time to the next period, and she doesn't miss anything, which is so impressive. So I'm going to pin that at the top of the chat. Make sure you go over there and do subscribe uh, and check out the videos while you're there. Even stuff that you feel like oh, well, I know about that. Check out those videos. Try to do at least one every week. If you haven't seen it already, try to do one every week. It will really get you up to speed. They're entertaining, they're informative, and it's not a daily thing. It's every so often, once a month, twice a month if we're lucky, but very, very informative. So I highly recommend. And if there's someone that you've been trying to explain things to and you don't feel like you're getting it right, this is a great place to start. So thank you all very much. Thank you to the moderators, as per usual, keeping this the safe space that it is. And thank you to the members. Membership started at just $4.99. That's not too much, is it? Let's see. Yes, yes, I love Duchess Royal. When I saw that, I was just like, oh, and you know what? I rarely watch any of these videos twice, meaning, I watch Pedo, I go through it one time. As much as I love Pedo, I'm good. But Duchess Royal is like the only one that I watch twice. And that's because of the way it's formatted is it really tells the story. I mean, I feel like I'm looking at 60 Minutes or something. Not in that it's the same, production as 60 Minutes, but just the way everything is in chronological order. Very, very informative. And I always find something I didn't know before. And even with that, I always find something that I didn't know before the second time I watch it. So I that's why I highly recommend. So do check it out. Okay. All right, I'm looking at your comments. Anything else? I think we're good, right? All right. Well, I'm gonna go. Yes, please continue to pray for the Sussexes, each other, and the world. Pray for all those who are sick, bereaved, or just in need of prayer. Oh, okay. France comes in after India, next to Italy. Yeah. Yeah, France has a pretty big economy. It's just not as big as Germany. Germany is like the banker of Europe. Germany is a powerhouse. How many people in Germany? Like about 100 million, something like that? No, 80 million, right? 80 something million people. Well, I was listening the other day and someone said something that almost made me jump out of my seat because I've been saying this and I don't think people believe me when I say it. All of this talk about migrants, immigration. I don't care what government it is, they tell you that they don't want people here. We don't want those people. We don't want those people. Yes, they do. Because if you look at the declining birth rate, rich people want cheap labor. All day long, they want cheap labor. Manufacturers, corporations love cheap labor. And even the Republicans, with all of this fuss that they're making, all the saber rattling and stuff like that, they don't ever want to pay the benefits necessary for these families that just arrived. They don't want to pay that, but they want that cheap labor. And everything else is just politics. They are playing politics by pitting one side against the other. And so the pawn, of course, are the immigrants. They're the pawn in a political game. Make people hate them, use them for politics, but they want those people here or there or wherever because they need the labor. You don't have to believe me if you don't want to, but I'm telling you, check it out. Do your research. Do your research. I don't care what Trump says. He might be the only Republican or maybe one of a handful, but the rest of them, they're going to be in a panic. And if they don't let him stay, guess who's going to have to pay the higher price? You and I. It only means the prices are going to go up even further. That's what's in exchange. So, okay, I'm off my soapbox. uh, oh, okay. So, number 4. So, it's United States, China, Japan, Germany, and then who's after that? Yeah, I lose. I think it's Britain, right? Britain is like what, number 6? Yeah. China was on the verge of overtaking the United States, but I'm telling you, they did something. They did something. I don't know what it is they've done. I don't want to start any conspiracies, but China was supposed to overtake the United States, but somehow they didn't. Little sleight of hand, if you ask me. Somebody did something, and now China is well, they're kind of their economy is kind of like sinking like a stone. Wonder what happened. And here I was about to take Mandarin classes. I guess I can put it off for a little while, huh? Yeah, I was about to go and take some Mandarin lessons. Or maybe I should take Cantonese. I like their food. Yeah, it's not even practical. It is not even practical. And Adrian Burrow, you know how I am. I've been saying this for the longest. I hate the fact that people are always blaming the migrants for everything, because when it comes down to it, those kids got to go to school. Those kids, they get bullied so bad, and it happened here in the United States when the Irish came. They picked on the Irish. When the Italians came, they picked on the Italians. The Chinese, all the way back to the Transcontinental Railroad, they picked on the Chinese. And of course, black people, I don't even need to tell you how we figured into everything because you already know. But whichever group is next is the ones that get picked on. And what happens is you create a subculture, issues of vice and such like that in the communities of the people that are being marginalized and pushed out into the, the fringes. um, they always say that, oh, they don't want to integrate into our country. Well, if you keep treating people badly and disrespecting them, now that ain't to say that some people really don't want to, you know integrate or whatever, but we have no official language in the United States. Whatever anybody tells you, there is no official language. Most of the government functions with the English language, but we have no official language in the United States. We never had one before, and we don't now, which is why in most big cities you have Spanish documents right along with the English documents. And then in other cities, they'll have a third language. but we have no official language. But people say that so that they can bully people from other places. Okay, I'm talking too much. I'm gonna go. But do your research. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. Oh yeah, no, what is that? No blacks, no Irish, and no dogs. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that it was the same here in the US. It was the same here in the US. They are taking our jobs. They are taking our, and as racist as Henry Ford was, as racist as he was, Henry Ford probably did more to elevate the economy for black people than the United States government ever has, because coming from the South during the Great Migration, thanks to the unions and such, black people were able to be paid right on par with white people for the first time in mass, being paid on par. And so there was these um, economies in the big cities that before the civil rights movement, just like with Black Wall Street, these were totally independent economies, just about totally separate from the rest of the town or county. And it just goes to show that when you're left alone, you can thrive. But when you have um, what is it, government agencies along with organized crime plotting against the community, then of course the community can't really grow properly. So, but yeah, there were. It's hard to believe that in some big cities, like just like Harlem, you can go days or months without seeing a white person because everything was contained. The whole economy was contained in Harlem, Bronzeville in Chicago. There's a lot of places across the country where blacks, you know, had their own insurance companies and banks and all kinds of services. So we gained a lot with the civil rights movement, but unfortunately, we lost a lot because of the civil rights movement. And still, I'm afraid to drive across the country. There's some states where I would get nervous if I had to drive through certain states. I'd be like, where's my green book? uh, oh, well, I'm going to do some more history stuff. I kind of got away from that, but I just learned about another historic black figure that I want to share with you all. So I will work on that very soon. But I haven't introduced you all to some of the interesting people that I have just learned about because, when I learn about it, I'm just like, ooh, I'm going to share that with the Sussex squad. So, but yeah, I'm very much into Black history, especially in this country, um, because I feel as though the contributions of African Americans are dismissed far too often, and it's the same in Europe. They like to make people believe that the Africans had no impact in Europe and that they were not very important in Europe. But there's been a lot of like erasing of things, but still somehow that history always shines through. Always. Yep. From shop owners to nobility, there were plenty black people thriving in Europe. Okay. I can't believe it's so many of y'all still here because I'm just rambling on. I mean, to tell you, I'm just rambling on. You guys are too kind. Oh, by the way, where is it at? Did I not put it up here? I guess I didn't. What did I do with it? I must have put it oh, maybe I put it on the uh I wanted to show you all the card that I got from Jerry White. Um ah, that is so strange. And I thought for certain that I had put that on the slide and now I don't see it. Oh, well, I'll show you. I just thought it was really nice. I'm like, this is cute. I guess I didn't. Well, let me find it and I will share it with you. That is so weird though, because all right. So okay. I got it. I got it. Yes, I hope it's there. If it's not there, that would be very weird. There we go. That was the last slide. That one right there. Isn't that nice? That's the card I got from Jerry White. The one that says "Oh Holy Night." That's the front of the card. Thought that was really nice. Yeah, thought that was really nice. With the Star of Bethlehem, you can see Jerusalem. You can see the three wise men. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, thank you very much. See, I like getting my little surprises. Um, when I saw it, I was just like, yay. I know. I'm one of those people that go to the aisle in the like the grocery store, wherever they have the Hallmark cards and such. And I really had to fight this because I was doing it a lot, but I would buy a card because it said something really clever or interesting. I would buy cards and never give them away. I would never send them out. I bought them because I thought they were nice or unique or interesting. And yes, I used to frame some of the cards. I would get those frames that was just the right size and not just, greeting cards, but postcards too. If I found an interesting postcard, I would frame it and use it as wall art. So, um, but yeah, this one is going to go under the Christmas tree. And every year I'm going to put it under the Christmas tree. As a matter of fact, some of the cards that you guys have sent me for Christmas last year, those go under the tree as well. There's a few of them that I keep. If I like the card, I'm just kind of very attached to it, and I put them under the Christmas tree. And so I would do that for years to come. I know. I think it's beautiful. The gold background, I added the gold background just to give it a contrast, but the card itself, that's the way it came, was everything inside of the blue border. May your Christmas be filled with his amazing love and his unending hope. Merry Christmas. Oh, okay, right here. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. Matthew 2:10. Okay. All right. Yeah, I am definitely. I already when I keep my all of my photos and stuff like that, I have it labeled Christmas. So um if you've been on Royal Sussex for a while, you probably know that it's not unusual for some of those images I share to be repeated again and again, especially if it's something I really like. So if I search Christmas, let me see, how many Christmas photos do I have? Oh, let me see. I think, gosh, about almost 300, almost 300 photos for Christmas. Well, actually, you know what? I take that back because some of them are just things that I saved on Christmas Day. Yeah, some of them are things I just saved on Christmas Day. But most of them are Christmas photos. So you will be seeing this one again. Wow. Okay. I'm looking at a photo right here. In 2019, it was 34 degrees Fahrenheit on Halloween and 57 degrees Fahrenheit on Christmas Day. And I think I shared that one a couple times before. But can you believe that? 34 degrees on Halloween and Christmas Day, 57 degrees Fahrenheit, of course. Don't tell me global warming is not real. And Christmas 2019, Chicago was warmer than Phoenix, Arizona, which was 55 degrees, and Los Angeles, which was 56 degrees. It was warmer in Chicago than it was in Phoenix or Los Angeles. Where does that happen? How does that happen? Can you believe that? Thank you, Cookies and Cream. Okay, I'm going to go for real this time. Love you guys. See you next time.